to the
Well,
mind sport. And here today we're going to be discussing issues that the entire continent faces. But mindset sport is where we bring each and everyone to discuss solutions. And let's face it, let's put it in perspective. The globe in which we live in of late, we must have heard of many people, of which some might have heard, who have stopped watching the daily news. They have stopped watching the news because all they see is a globe getting scarier, harsher, and less hospitable by the day. I do not blame them. Every news episode, be it local, national, and beyond borders, starts with disasters and ends with uncertainties. From food crisis to financial crisis, energy crisis, and conflict. The globe is increasingly spiraling out of control and economies. And the economies are falling rapidly by the hour with increasing momentum. Adding salt to this gaping injury is climate change, a catalyst that turbocharges and supercharges these stresses. Climate change, as we all know, is already with us. Consequently, it can be easy for people sometimes to fall victim to doomism, so overwhelmed by despair that they feel they should give up with these challenges that I mentioned. But we cannot let that happen. Apathy and inaction induced by the belief that an impending apocalypse is inevitable are just as dangerous as science denial. And we cannot forget that there is a reason for hope. Yes, there is a reason for hope. We all need to understand that the world can change for the better. Despite the destruction, as long as people leverage their passions to turn challenges into opportunities, we can make a difference. Yes, we can make a difference. And we are seeing that with young people. We can therefore say that we need a new perspective. Yes, it's a perspective to address the three most significant crises facing humanity: biodiversity and ecological degradation, climate change, pollution, and waste. Addressing this in a way that creates opportunities for enterprise development and competitive economic growth is what we must do. This is what we can summarily refer to as climate and environment action as an economic and enterprise opportunity. But one critical aspect remains. One critical aspect remains, it remains missing in discussions on climate change, which is human capital. Human capital is a sovereign capital that we urgently need. That is the perspective we need today. Because you cannot address any challenge while ignoring your powerhouse, the youth. The youth are the powerhouse and how they can be leveraged as drivers of enterprise opportunities through the environment and climate action lens is critical in turning these challenges we face across the continent and the world into opportunities. We have developed an incubation space called Innovative Volunteerism, where we're structurally guiding young people across the entire African continent to seize opportunities. We're inspiring these young people of different backgrounds, regardless of what they study in school, to turn their passions into profits and retool their skills in developing and decentralizing tools to communities, simple solar dryers, fuel briquettes to replace charcoal. These are opportunities that are already happening. And these realities happening today, we will hear firsthand from young people who are part and parcel of the innovative volunteerism spirit, sacrificing their time, learning new skills, venturing into opportunities to turn environmental challenges. This is the kind of mindset change that we need. Inspiring transformational change, showing that we need to start where we are with what we have. Remembering that change doesn't start on a global scale, it starts at a local scale. So, on the mindset spot, we will be discussing issues on environmental opportunities and, most importantly, the attitudes and the perspectives that we must have to help us turn these challenges into opportunities. We'll be discussing mindset change issues, passion. The mindset spot is about getting the software right, which is our thoughts and motivation, so we can be well equipped to tap opportunities in challenges, in climate change challenges, by offering value, by transforming our lives to transform communities, because moments of transformation happens when opportunities are seized in crises. And the biggest crisis we have today is climate change and environmental degradation, is pollution. This is what Mindset Spot is all about, discussing solutions we can control and our place in the solutions process. how we can voluntarily avail ourselves, retool our skills as needed to be better placed to offer value. This is innovative volunteerism activated. On the mindset spot, where you are in today, we will have conversation with intriguing minds and with youth and everyone passionate about solutions to our unique challenges. Therefore, let us remove our eyes from focusing on our wants for a better life and instead focus on our needs, on what we need to do to turn challenges into opportunities. With me now is Esika Emmanuel and Bola, who are going to actually discuss with us how they've been leveraging innovative volunteerism, their passions, to turn things into opportunities. Welcome, Esika. How have you been, Esika Emmanuel?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Doctor, for having me again on this part.
Excellent.
It's really
Excellent.
amazing.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Stephen Bula, how are you doing? Nice to
Um,
have you on the mindset spot.
yes, sir. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm doing great. And yes, sir.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So we are on the mindset spot. And first of all, let me first of all appreciate the excellent work that you guys are doing. I mean, you are an example, you are an epitome of excellence across the continent by showcasing that we can use what we have to get what we don't have. And in the course of doing so, we perfect skills. So let me start off with you, Esika. What can you say about this idea of mindset with the young people? In a few words, what would you say to a young person who is watching this show at the moment, saying, "But these guys are here. How did they start? And how did their mindset change?"
Wow. Um, I think last week or per week we had a call and I was able to share nuggets. And I share with you, Doctor, about some certain people that watch that interview and then what they say through it. And I tagged you yesterday to a post of a lady called Bulu who read this interview, who was complaining and a complainant before then. She reached out, she was complaining about the economy, her situation, her family, herself. And then after a few discussion, I sent her the link to that video. That very day, she went out there, she took action, and she applied for a job. And as we are speaking today, she got a job. And she is one of the most happiest person on earth. How was this possible for Bulu? It's just through that mindset reorientation. So once the mindset change, one find it easy to take action. And when you take action, you are going to generate results. Now, these stories are not made up. They are on LinkedIn. I tag Doctor to it. And this is something that is happening. Last week, I spoke about Collins, how he was able to change the situation. Today, I'm speaking about Bolu and how she was able to get a job even as a student. She did something differently. And when you do something differently, you are going to get different results. So, mindset is everything. It's everything. Because when you change your mindset, you change your environment. When you change your environment, you begin to take action. And when you take action, sooner or later, results will come trooping in. So thank you, Doctor.
Wonderful. Mindset is everything, and mindset is truly everything. Stephen Bula, mindset is truly everything. How can you explain to people who are watching, especially young people, your journey on mindset to becoming an innovative volunteerism actor? Because I am really amazed with the way that you have actually engaged as an innovative volunteerism actor, and at the same time with the passion and the humility that you have espoused. Please tell us.
Okay, sir. I like to start from the part that because I was reading a book by Brian Tracy one time, and he quoted a great philosopher, Plato, that he said, the first and the best victory is the victory over oneself, and that's the ability for you to wake up every day. There'll always be this down power that you feel like you can't do it, you can't like this kind of nagging thing behind you that will say you can't do it, you can't achieve it. But it's the mindset for me is that when you wake up every morning, although it's you feel limited at times, you feel like there's some burdens, there are some a lot of things going on that could not let you pay attention, pay focus to what you need to achieve at that point in time. But you waking up constantly, telling yourself that yes, I can do it, yes, I can see this happening for myself. Although you might not be there at that present moment, but just visualizing it that yes, I've gotten this, I've actually yes, I see myself going this, doing these things, and like every day, every waking moment, you start building it subconsciously before you, and then you start to see that it becomes a reality in you, like because you've believed it, you've psychologically told yourself that yes, this is possible and I can achieve this. So then you see it happening. Personally, I've gone through a lot of things at times. That, like, take for example, like when I started learning video editing, I actually got there because I actually loved watching sci-fi movies. Then I realized that wait, if I love this thing, I could actually do these things like this. I could actually want to just do it. So at first it was like it's so big. I have to download this. I have to get some learning, some understandings. But I just kept envisioning myself that okay, this and this I'm going to do it, I'm going to achieve it. And also to chip this in, it's also important that you have friends that are also supporting you in terms of your mindset, like in terms of growth. Like personally, I have my friend Misika, and also you sir to thank for the support, because honestly there are times that you, as much as you can fight yourself to overcome that barrier of that mental block, there are times whereby you can't do it alone, and it's important that you surround yourself with like-minded people, like people that will help you in the times of need. Like the great book says, the Bible says, iron sharpens iron. So it's important that you are surrounded by people that could help and people that could keep that mindset flowing, the proper mindset, not the people that you meet in one day, they'll say that things are hard. No, the people that has come and tell you that they have the same goal and they have the same vision as where you're going to. And
I think
that
you have really touched very critical aspects. Having the same goal, surrounding yourself with people that can inspire you, and I think this is a very important aspect, because they say any positive energy attracts positive energy, and negative energy attracts negative energy. And the fact that you have a seeker with you, I would like, maybe before I get back to Isika, when Isika engaged you, I mean, what made you to believe that when you volunteer yourself to learn something, at least it can better your life? Because a lot of people always not believe in anything if it doesn't bring value in terms of money, if they don't see money in it. So what made you to become an innovative volunteerism actor, and how are you enjoying it?
okay. Okay. The first part of the question said how he has been able to engage me. Like, take for example now, like although I understand the fact that a lot of people are actually, after the money and after the everything, but I realized that looking at everything around the world right now, everyone is, when they started out, they didn't get the money instantly. Everyone had to go through a process, and like thank God for my friend here too. Also, like he's been able to like help me understand the process that you have to go through, in which there's a process of learning for people, and the part that I also learned from it is that it's different from each other. You can't compare your process of growth or your process of achievement from to another person's. Some people it might take them a year, some people might take them 2 months, some people might take them 3 months, and but that process, while the process lasts, it's important that you enjoy it, and what your major focus should be at that point, and or should be even after that point, is that what impact are you making? And that has been one of my drive in innovative volunteerism. That okay, I know that fine, like I might not be at the biggest place that I am in my goal on my dream board, but I know that what I'm doing is making an impact somewhere, and that's a feel that keeps me going every day, that keeps me focused. That okay, yes, I need to do this, I need to achieve this, I need to keep improving myself in these certain areas, I need to learn more, I need to grow more as a person, and also develop myself more. So that's
Wonderful. That is excellent. I think we will go for a break, and then when we come back, I will focus on the aspect of the impact that you've mentioned. And we'll look at a lot of people do not think about impact. They only think of what they want to get, not what they need to have to do something to touch community life and then get what they want to get. And that is really something that I think we need to really discuss today. But the journey so far of how mindset can actually happen using the examples that you and Isika are giving, I believe is going to inspire a lot of Africa, and that's already impact. So you guys are already impacting others with what you are doing. So we'll be right back. Welcome to Innovative Volunteerism Voices, a space for you, a space for everyone to share their ideas and solutions on how we can turn challenges into opportunities. Let's face it, we are under the changing climate today, facing challenges ranging from droughts that are plunging millions of mothers, fathers, and children into spaces not their own, seeking opportunities that do not exist. We see floods across cities in the continent of Africa and elsewhere in the world. These realities have dawned on us, and we cannot afford for a minute to be despair, but instead to use our energies and time and get inspired to usher ourselves to action. Let's face it, as we're speaking today, every year in the continent, 700 Africans die as a result of indoor pollution. Our mothers, our parents, fathers, and children have committed no crime other than fetching for firewood, for fuelwood, for charcoal to cook food for their families. And this is resulting in deforestation, but it's also resulting in loss of lives. And what does this tell us? We must see this through the lens of opportunity. By just simply turning agricultural waste into fuel briquettes, we can reverse the dependence on charcoal, which is worth a market of 20 billion in the continent, and therefore inspiring young people so that they can be able to retool their skills and turn challenges to opportunities and create climatepreneurship enterprises. Climatepreneurship opportunities is the essence of these innovative volunteerism voices. Tune in, stay tuned, and share your ideas, because this is how we can build climate action to drive transformational development for people and planet. This is your voices, and be part and contribute your voice to these innovative volunteerism voices. Stay tuned. I'll be back. Yes, and we are back. And we are back. We are back now to discuss impact. And I'll get to you, Esika. I understand the attitude that most of the young people in the continent have got. And most of the time, it's not because they want to have that attitude, but it's just because they do not have role models sometimes to look up to see that things can be done right. I would like to understand from you, how did you assemble this team of young people? As Bula has indicated, you bring positive energy. And how have you sustained that? I want to get this, and then before I get to the impact part, and from there, I will move to what you guys have been doing. Over to you, Sika.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. So, bringing people into a project has to do with their own willingness, zeal, and ability to see the vision. And one thing is, my wonderful friend here and colleagues, Stephen Bolaji was able to recognize this. He was able to see the long-term vision and then cue into this. And that is just it, because the youth nowadays in the continent, all over Africa, they are focused about money. But one thing they refuse to realize is money is derived from value. And you create value by what you do those you network with, those you surround yourself with, all these things, they add value to you. And then sooner or later, money will come. It's just a matter of time. And this is the simple thing which I communicated to these team members, which is just the ICT team who is using digital technology to change the scope of climate action across Africa. And then they were able to key into this. Yes, most people said no. Most people said what they are focused right now is about money. That's what they need right now. It's about money. And I can tell you, starting from the last time I checked, that I have a conversation, those people that came into this project, they've done far, far better than these people in terms of finances, in terms of experience, in terms of knowledge. And that is just the secret because you pay sacrifice to earn more, to get more, and then to become more and more better. And this won't be possible without doctors saying yes to me in years previously. And that is really what changed everything. So it's over to you, and it's all on you, doctor. Thank you, doctor.
No, thank you very much. There is a saying that you can take a horse to the river and the horse would refuse to drink water if the horse doesn't want to drink. So at the end of the day, it boils down to the individual to self-accept and become passionate about what he or she wants to do. I will now get to you, Bula. From what Esika have said, the aspect of value. When value is built and value is not given, so it means you need to sacrifice your time, effort, dedication before you can build value. And this value is a skill. Why? What is your take on the attitude that some people don't want to dedicate their time, to sacrifice, to put effort, to get value, to get what they want? They just want to jump to the product without doing that. And what do you think can be done based on the lessons that you learn and the guidance that you have been getting? How do you see this becoming the norm and not the exception, using your own experience?
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, sir. Okay. For the fact that so people to sorry for the value. Now, why I see that when it comes to value, when it comes to time, giving time for value and everything, I've realized that whatever path you take, whether the path of not giving yourself to value, like giving the time to value, or whether you're giving time to value, you're still going to lose something either way. And it boils down to which one will definitely give you an end result that is far more better, and the other one will just make you a lesser version of who you are. So that's why I say, in fact, so that's why I see to tell people, like, if you're not giving your time, I've realized that if you're not giving your time to what matters, like, now take for example, now if you're meant to, let's say you're meant to study something for about, let's say, 10 hours, and you watched a movie for 10 hours, one way or the other, time still passes. But what was the end result of those 2 10 hours is going to be different from each other. And definitely the one whereby you give your time to actually studying is going to be more productive, and it's going to give you a better effect in your life. And also in terms of giving value, in terms of being able to show people how value is important and how you're able to build a better value. I've actually given this a thought. I think that was a while back, and I realized that it's like you always say, like we ourselves. I remember when you said something about the issue is not the leaders, but the people ourselves. That we ourselves as a community, if we grow up, if we build each other up, if we help each other up, we'll be able to develop a better nation and a better country, like, and everything. So I sat down, like, I think that was like maybe a few weeks ago. I was thinking about this, and I realized that if we want to build a better future, if we want to build a better future tomorrow, we have to start from the children, and that's by subconsciously teaching them, not just a one-time thing. Like, even in our arts, in our character, and our attitude, like, children learn a lot from this. Fine, we might be able to do a little thing in our generation, the current generation right now, but if we want to, the impact is not meant for the issue. And if we want to create a better impact, a greater impact, we have to start from the younger ones. And I realized that the younger ones are the ones that easily accept and the ones that easily uh understand things. Their minds are still fresh, their minds are still pure, and if you're able to train them in the right way, if you're able to show them the right path, they will actually easily absorb it, and it will end up producing a better community. Like I remember, like, okay, take for example now, there's a recent trend that's going on in the country and everything, and they were showing the fact that a child was introducing to some like doing some kind of immoral art on public those broadcast worldwide. So I realized that this child was definitely exposed to something while she was young, and over time they didn't probably due to the negligence of the parent, or the, like, maybe the lack of awareness of those things. Maybe the parents were doing in front of her or something. She developed those characters into her, even into her older age, and this thing eventually exploded. So I was now thinking that if they actually stopped this while she was young, or they portrayed something for her, if they gave her something that will give like a proper guideline, like that will help her actually develop a better value, make her a better person. If maybe now self she might actually be like the one of the young minds, one of the young geniuses, instead of the other side that we're getting to see right now. So I was just saying this, like, I see the way one of the best ways in producing a people, in showing people that there are values, in showing people that they could build values or something. One is by we ourselves exhibiting those values, if we ourselves being the examples of what we want to see in the other people. We ourselves being, and also not other people alone, also ensuring that as we are showing it in characters, we're also teaching the younger generations, and also teaching those that are able to hear at that point in time, and also don't give up on the people that still finding it hard to understand the value. So that's it.
I like this. I mean, we must become the versions we want to see out there. And I think this is the missing link that really exists in the entire world, and more so in the African continent. The language is they must do it, they must do it. The language is not never about this is what I'm doing, and I wish that other people can do it so that we have collective impact. No, the leaders must do it. Then you ask the question, who are the leaders and where did they come from? And I think, Stephen, you've put it so nice. Of course, the attitudes do not start in the middle somewhere. They start from the home, get perfected in school, and then get worsened in the positions in which they end up, and then they start to manifest the attitude. So I think that's why I really appreciate the fact that we're having this conversation, because if we do not build value, we cannot have good leadership. Value is what you can offer to solve a problem that can touch many lives in the community. And that is why I really keep focusing to really get the mindset of you guys. And I think you are really giving a lot of information. We must become the versions we want to see. And those versions we want to see can only be practical when we have something to offer to turn challenges to opportunities. And that was really spot on. Esika, we must become the versions we want to see. You assemble a team to put an ICT, an information communication technology app, and you brought in people who can do design, who can develop infographics. And today, an app is available. So, how did you sustain? Because I still want to understand, because a lot of people give up when they face a little challenge, or even when they are guided with a tone that is stronger. They say, "Aye, that guy is too harsh," and then they run away. But oh, I'm spending a lot of time. Like Bula said, you need to create time. If you don't create time, time is never given. You create time for what is important. You create time to build value. You create time to develop a skill. So how have you sustained this? And how did you guys come up with the app? And what is, because now I'm now transitioning to the substance of, to the impact of what building value, building skills have now achieved, and how that is going to impact society. Yes, Esika.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Before like diving into the question, I would just like to stress more on doctors on Bolaji's point. And one thing is this, like, to know if you are actually adding value to your life, you have to set goals. And that is simply it. You have to set goals. Be it you are a volunteer, you are a career person, you are an entrepreneur, you are a founder. No matter the spheres of your life, the measure of value is ability to meet your personal goals. You set personal goals, you set career goals. So you set goals. Now, in the next 1 year, you ask yourself, where do I want to see myself in? In the next 1 year, what are the things I want to do? In short, 1 year is too far. In 3 months, where do I visualize myself in? What do I want to do and want to achieve? And when you're able to set this goal and acquire it, that will be the measure of your value. So then, how were we able to sustain challenges over time? Why building the hub? The truth is, there were challenges, there were delays, even while managing the whole project. It shoot out time. Yeah, you spent the proposed time 3 months, 6 months, and then it was shooting even more. Then how do you manage it at amidst this? The way to manage this is to make up for the lapses. Now, leaders, what leaders do is they try to understand individual problems. They look at how do I solve these problems. For example, you look at things like internet, electricity. Are these problems solvable at the moment? Now, if they are solvable, you throw up resources to solve this instead of complaining and complaining and complaining that nothing and nothing is being done. Let me cite real examples here. In Africa, we know, okay, let's take Nigeria, for example. We know issue has to do with light and data connection. In short, according to data, African has one of the most expensive data connection in the globe. One of the most expensive data connection in the globe. So to connect to internet is very expensive. Now you're developing this app, you have to stay on the internet, and before you know, you run out of resources. Now, as a leader, instead of complaining, I'm paying you salary because volunteers are not paid salary. Now, if it's in the corporate world, instead of complaining, I'm paying you salary, I'm doing this. The question you begin to ask is the innovative mindset. Now, what can we do to resolve this? If it's in the corporate sense, okay, can I pay for most of this salary now to help this person meet the issue? What resources can I put to help this person meet the issue? Now, what resources is in place for this person? And then what can he use to solve this? Now, you might look at public space. If this person can have access to public space to solve the issue of data, internet. Now, if there is no public space, is there access to private resources, generators, solar, and the likes? And when you begin to think like this, you will see that you solve various problems and then they are all resolved. So now the issue now is not like the problem isn't there. The issue is, as leaders, you begin to think that, yes, I recognize this problem is there, but what can I do to solve it? And that is simply the creative mindset. Thank you so much. Oh, Doctor, you're muted.
Wow, wow, wow. I said the creative mindset, working with what you have, and at the same time, managing the situation, not giving up or complaining, which is the default fallback for many. I think this is very, very important. And before I get to Stephen, I'll ask you, so if you are the leader today, which you are already a leader in your own right, because leadership is personal responsibility, and every young person, young at heart or even in age, is a leader, depending on what he or she chooses to do. Because leadership is personal responsibility, it's inspiration, it's passion to do something to touch life. That's real what leadership means to me. And we should all be leaders. So, with what we see across the continent today, everybody complains. It's the default and the easiest because you don't need energy or effort to blame someone except themselves. What can you tell a youth based on the experience from the app? I will still come back to the app, what the app is going to do. Based on the experience that you work with Bula, you work with IO, you work with everyone, Salim, what can you say are lessons that every youth need to learn? Yes, I know you've talked about resilient mindset and not defaulting back. Very briefly, before I get to Bula.
Okay. Okay. Now, I think that's for me, right?
Yes, it's for you, but the same question will go to Bula. But
Okay.
proceed.
So one thing every youth should learn is, please, if you are out there, do not put money first. Do not put money first. Now, I was speaking to a friend in the corporate world, I think around last week. He rose in the Naira conversion, he rose from 150,000 Naira in a month to 1 million Naira. And then I was having this conversation with him. I asked him, "You are still in your previous work?" He said, "Yes." Then what did you do differently? He said, "Instead of talking about money in the initial stage, I tell my employer I am able to solve the problem. I map out plan to solve the problem. Then I gave him reasons why detailedly solving the problem, why the money I requested for is equivalent to the problem being solved. He cited an example. He was given an app to develop by his current employer outside of the work scope. And then he charged the employer the space of 1 million in a month. And then the same employer was paying him 150. So from 150 to 1 million, that is around 8% increment. And then the employer said, "Why should I give you?" And he mapped out the problem of the app. He solved everything. And then when he told the employer the money, the employer complained, "This money is too much." But then he ended up paying. Why? Because at first he showcased value and then money came afterward. So now, when you shift from the goal of focusing on money, 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 and then looking at value, how to solve problem, every employer out there, everyone facing challenges out there, what they want is not how much it will cost me. What they want is, can you solve my problem? That is it. Once you can solve the problem, no matter how much you call, once they have the money, they will pay for it.
Wow.
They are going to pay for it. If it's the poor masses, if all they have is just 500,000, if all they have is 5,000, and then you're able to solve their problem, and you're able to tell them how your solution will make their life better, they are going to pay for it. How do you think the rich get richer? They don't get richer by leveraging on people's poverty. They get richer by solving societal problems. And that is simply what we are doing. So when you look at this, you look at the basic challenge which we face, you look at the challenge of farmers, you look at the challenge of the society, you look at the challenge of those in the rural area, and then you're able to solve this problem through innovative means. And that is just the secret, problem solving. That's why you see, according to the ILO and the WEF, they said one of the top skill which employer will pay for in the year 2025, they will pay highly demanded, is problem solving, critical thinking, not programming, not digital marketing, not ability to build have with the code which you are able to write, with the marketing which you are able to do, can you solve problems? So companies are paying you for solving problems and not for coming in and saying, "I'm a marketer, I'm a programmer." No, they have problems. And the reason why they're employing you is that, okay, I have a problem, solve the problem. So when you can fish out the problem of that company, you can fish out the problem of the organization, even as a volunteer, a founder, an employee, and you can meet these, your needs of earning possibility will be so much enlarged. And this is how guys who are making it out there are really doing it. And if we as a youth can incorporate this by not putting money first, because money is not everything, money is just a means of exchange for value. If we can put this first, solving problems, we will see that we are opening a whole new realms even for us in terms of finance, in terms of network and all. Thank you so much.
Well, I get very inspired when I see young people saying what is not in the mainstream, because the mainstream is it must be done. Of course, uh, things need to be done, and everybody needs to play his or her part depending on what he or she is supposed to do. But the discussion in the mainstream is all about they. It's never about me and you. It's about they. They have to do it. They have to do it. And from what you've summarized, challenges are a gold mine for billions. I mean, it's a gold mine where you can tap billions and trillions. But to do that, you need value, you need a skill. And that skill, you need to get it without having what you want to get, because you cannot get what you want when you don't have what it takes to get that. So to you, Bula, this aspect of complaining that we see, which is the easiest thing to do, what is your take on the importance of advice? Because I have noticed the difficulty, especially with even old people, of taking advice. Because like what you guys are doing here, you are giving advice, because this you are playing from your experience by sacrificing time, effort. You have learned how to move from the mindset of complaining to doing things. You've learned how to handle challenges in the course of doing things. What do you think is the importance of advice, to take advice? Because a lot of people don't take advice. And how has taking advice, you yourself, how has taking advice changed you, Bula?
All right, sir. Thank you for the question, sir. Okay. I there's a my, okay, my native language, my native, there's an adage that they say but I'll translate it in English. They say something that an adult can see, a young child cannot see it. Like, that's like the rough translation, and it simply means that someone that has been through those experiences, someone that has gone through those, to that path, through that journey, definitely has more insight and more understanding of how everything is, and what you can see ahead, can see what can become of you, because at that point in time you are still learning, you are still going through that phase. And that's like the role people that give advice to us is to us, because technically whoever wants to give advice, why I cherish advice so much, especially if it's coming from someone that has actually been where I want to go to, or as or is much definitely much higher than where I am right now, is because they've gone through that experience for me to learn from them and not to make that experience again. And so that's one of the reasons I see people, it's important that we as humans, or we as cultural beings, that we need to take advice, because it clears out a lot of mistakes. There are a lot of mistakes that you to definitely remove from you. Fine, you definitely make your own mistakes, but it will, instead of you making about hundreds of mistakes, you just definitely end up making, let's say, one or two. And that's because you have someone that could give you advice, and someone that has seen ahead of you before, has gone through those experiences for you. And that's why it's important that you listen to advices. It helps and helps build. Sorry, sir. The second question, I didn't get the.
Yes, actually, I mean, you've answered it. The point was, from your own experience, how have you learned the importance of advice? And I think you've answered it with the proverb. I know an old man can see sitting down, a young man cannot see standing up. I love proverbs because they're always pregnant with a lot of meaning. As Chinua Achebe would say, proverbs are the palm oil with which food is eaten. So I use them a lot to pass meaning to things, because they're pregnant with a lot of meaning. So I love proverbs, and African proverbs are quite a lot that we can use to pass a message. And I think your answer is spot on, and it shows that nobody can be mentored if he or she is not willing to take advice, because he or she will make mistakes. Because mentorship is holding someone's hand to avoid repeated mistakes that person could have made, but not to help the person so that at least he can leapfrog and avoid those mistakes to move forward. But one of the things that is happening in the continent is that it seems mentorship is not becoming the part and parcel of transformational development discussion. It's about blaming and not actually building on good examples of people who are doing good things, so that at least they can actually be guided. And that is why this forum, the Mindset Sport, is actually a mentorship space where people like you who have been guided and mentored are now also mentoring others and reaching a broader audience of over 1.3 billion people. So I really appreciate that. And then before I move to Isika, with the issue with people not always really wanting to take advice sometimes is because they focus on what they want rather than on what they need to do to get what they want. And that is the reason why you see somebody who have a shelter to stay in, who eats 3 square meals a day, and then complains even more than those who don't have an opportunity, even a place to stay. And there is a research that was done showing that most of sub-Saharan Africa have many unhappy people. And then when you ask in that report, it shows that when you ask people in sub-Saharan Africa, especially, what are the issues? They state the real issues that exist: food insecurity, lack of drinkable, clean drinking water, poor infrastructure, non-accessible roads. True. But what they miss is in all what they say, the missing link is none of them says, this is what we need to do, and this is what me, myself, can do with the little that I have. It's all about blame game. So now what I want to ask is, what role do you see passion playing in an individual in the process of generating value? And I'll ask the same question to Esika. So Esika, after him, you will answer the same. Over to you, Bola.
All right. Thank you for that.
Before you answer that question, let's just take a short break. And when we will be back, yes, we will discuss that.
Hi everyone, I am Isika Emmanuel, and today we are going to be talking about innovative volunteerism. What do you understand by the word innovative volunteerism? First, it is a good one to lay this foundation. The United Nations said, climate action is the world's biggest threat. What does this mean? Going back to what innovative volunteerism means, innovative volunteerism is using skills to provide solutions to the world's biggest problem, which is climate action. It requires skillful individuals coming together, bringing in their problem-solving aptitude and knowledge to tackle the world's biggest solution.
To tackle the world's biggest solutions. Yes. How do you see passion? A crucial element.
Okay. I can't believe like that was me talking. Look how I'm sleeping around.
No, but you said the very, very important things there, and I love your headphones and
I think that's why one do say like your current situation doesn't matter. When you see that speech, you know this is the guy going somewhere. Like I just kept like wondering, was that me?
That was you, and what you said there is quite very memorable, because at the moment the question that I'm posing to Bola, which I also pose to you, is to solve the world challenges, we need to innovatively volunteer ourselves to learn a skill to address it. I think that is the biggest ever message. And now the question is, how do you sustain self-drive to continuously volunteering as you learn a skill? From your experience, Bola, how have you sustained self-drive? Or what is the rule of passion? Do you really what do you think is the rule of passion in developing value, if I may put it that way? You just saw a seeker there with his beautiful yes. Over to you, Stephen Bola.
All right, sir. Thank you for that, sir. Like I'll start from the point of, you made mention of something earlier on, like the fact that someone that stays at home and gets fed, like the person doesn't really do as much as the person that is outside that doesn't get the privileges that you have. So what I see then in maintaining passion, in maintaining the other self-discovery, having that drive, I've come to realize that for every man to get to that point whereby he is able to ascertain his passion, is able to work with his passion, he definitely have to move away from his comfort zone. and that's him moving to his junior zone, whereby fine, it's gonna be tough. I like, and one of this proof, like, it's just like the story of David in the Bible.
All
Like,
right.
yeah, he went to the forest, he was killing bears, he was killing lion. He went there, although the environment was not, he could have stayed in his father's house, he could have
Exactly.
enjoyed everything, but he went there. He went there with a mindset that he wants to go and do something. When he got there, the place was not favorable. He was able to conquer it, and from there, he was able to find who he was, which eventually made him the king, which eventually made me strong to fight for battles and everything. And that's how I see how men are right now. Like, men, like we ourselves, if we are in that comfort zone whereby we get fed, our parents gives us the food. Personally, that's one of the reasons that, although I'm still in my school level, I'm still in university, but one of the reasons why I can't stay at home is not because I don't like my parents or I don't enjoy their company, but it's because I know that anytime I step foot into that, I start to think less. Like, I don't think about I don't think for myself, like I ought to, not their fault, but because I realize that if you are being given everything, you will not get to think for yourself. There are some things that, like, if you are like, there's this joke I used to have with my
No, I
friends
like
that,
I like that point you are bringing up, Stephen, because it's a very very important point. When I say we, especially Africans, we all grew up here. I grew up here. I was born in a village, like many of us. The attitude of expecting others to do things for us is an attitude that seems to have really eaten deep into our system. So what you are explaining here is very, very important. And I had to interrupt because you're talking about how to build a resilient mindset through adversity. That adversity forms you to be stronger. That
yes.
adversity makes you very, very resilient. That even when you face a challenge, you struggle. That struggle is molding you to be able to navigate through other challenges to build self. Please continue. This is really interesting.
You actually summarized what the joke I was about to reference to, like the fact that I and my friends used to joke about this thing, that at least if you're not at home, if you're in school, and we don't disturb our parents or we don't tell them we're hungry, and the hunger reaches a certain point, you start to think for yourself, then you find a way to make things happen. And at that point in time whereby true good means, and you choose, I have to emphasize that, like, it's important that whatever you do it out of a pure and a sincere heart. Don't do anything bad. So, but at that point in time that you realize that you thinking for yourself, you going through that point of hunger, you going through that point of pain, if the moment you overcome it, any circumstance, anything that wants to come towards you, you just have this mindset of, if I could go through that, definitely I'm going to overcome this one. So it's that's that in that plan, in that pathway, you find your passion, you find your focus, because at that point in time you get to realize what hurts you the most. Like, personally, going through life, personally, I went through some sad things growing up, like in terms of, families, everything. And I realized that one of the things that burdens me the most, that makes me unhappy, is me seeing another set of people on the road. Like, take for example, when you're going through the street, you see people, struggling, suffering, some people not being able to make ends meet for themselves. And all these things will not all these things will not come to mind when if you are still stuck in where, at that point whereby everything is like, your mind is not thinking. The one of the most important, how can I put it? One of the most important factor, one of the most important element that I think, I believe that humans have, is their mind. And if their mind are not being put to work, if their mind are not being exercised, you get to a point whereby you just be complacent, whereby you have no vision, no passion, no purpose. Because at that point, and those point in time doesn't those point in time will remain like that if you remain in your comfort zone. So you want to move to your genius zone, whereby it's the zone whereby you go through those experience, you go through those process. That's when you'll be able to break free and actually even discover your passion more, discover what you love, discover what you want to do, and you even develop that self-drive, because you know that, yes, there's a goal, there's a point in which you want to reach. So
Wonderful.
that's
That's a very beautiful explanation. I think before I get to you, Esika, let's take a break, and when we'll be back, we'll discuss the importance of purpose. From passion that has been eloquently explained by Stephen Buller, we will now discuss the importance of purpose, what our usefulness should be about, and how we can use that to make a difference. We'll be right back.
I'm the UNEP Baposa Innovative Volunteerism Team Leader in Nigeria. I've been inspired by UNEP Baposa Innovative Volunteerism, which helped me to avail myself and innovatively volunteer to learn new skills, to turn challenges into opportunities. And from this, I am focused on using lessons from the UN Environment Program and Environment Canada Waste NDC supported work in Cote d'Ivoire and Senegal, which use the lessons to learn how to turn agricultural waste into fuel briquettes and biofertilizer in Nigeria. This has helped me and more than 11 other youths to retool our skills, and together with the team, we are driving climate action solutions in Nasarawa State, which is helping implement Nigeria NDCs in agriculture, forestry, and energy sector.
These are actions that we are seeing being carried out by young people, just like you, Bola, and Esika are doing. These are things that people are doing not because government have asked them to do. They voluntarily do it themselves. So it goes to the aspect that Bola talked about on self-drive. You have to be passionately passionate. I usually say that jokingly. And I'm not talking about passion juice here or passion fruit. That's self-drive, that fire that burns internally. But to sustain that passion, you need to know why you exist, because the purpose of life is to be useful. And what is the meaning of useful? To do something that touches other people's lives, even beyond your immediate family. Because the app that is developed, the infographics that you do, Bola, I mean, you are not the one who consume them. It's to pass a message on climate change to people out there. It's to assemble a video that can show people that these are the opportunities. And you don't do this because you are doing it for money, but you're just doing it hoping that a youth out there can learn something new and benefit his or her life. So, Isika, what would you say about purpose in the process of driving this transformational solutions process in innovative?
Okay. I would say purpose fuels passion. Purpose fuels passion. Bolaji spoke rigorously and detailedly on passion. I will cite an example. I remember while I was starting out, and then that video should be when I was earning between 70,000 naira in a month. And then, was it 70 or 5,000? 5,000 naira. And then my passion then was to help 1 million youth in 2013. I wake up, I breathe that passion because it was a purpose, and then it was fueling that passion like a burning fire within me every day after day. I just wake up in the morning thinking, what next? I wake up in the morning thinking about what I'm going to do. How will I achieve my goal? How will I achieve my vision? Then I remember when I started earning 750,000 naira in a month, then that's passion. I begin to get things that make me comfortable. I began to get furnished apartment and everything. Before I knew what was happening, I began to forget my core purpose. The passion.
So actually, when you got money, you started to lose track.
So the passion begins to gradually worn out. The goal of helping 1 million youth wasn't there anymore. And all that was focused was money. But I sat down and I told myself, why am I even here? Because then I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't happy. Yes, the more money I got, the more problem, the more unfulfilled I am. Then I begin to ask myself, what is actually the reason of my true existence? Then I went back to what I was, that purpose. And I wake up in the morning with that same purpose. I wake up in the morning asking myself, this and this and this needs to be done in the Africa. No, the educational system needs to be reinvented. The will of the system, because this is not what is there. If what I pass through in the educational system is what my students, my children are going to pass through, then the percentage that they will become someone is very unrealistic. I spoke to someone, Jordan, in the US, and he said US pay as most as $60,000 for private universities. And still yet, this educational system is still the same thing. It's not teaching them to become solution providers. They get out of school with lots of US debt, and then for 7 years, some of them can't even pay their student loan. And this is really a big issue. Then I said there needs to be someone that will solve this. So it's not just a problem of Africa now. It's a problem that exists in the world. So there needs to be a reinvention of this wheel. Then when I saw this problem, that passion, it begins to fuel in me. And this allow me build. Call day by day. Where are we at in the product? Are we launching? Reaching out to people. And we've had support, amazing support from people. Working in Google, such as the VP, Vice President at Google. Support from people, Dr. Richard, and many more, even in the ecosystem, helping to build this product. And that is really it. Because passion is truly your existence for life. And no matter how much you have, no matter how much you make, that passion will still be there. All the money which you made, you will begin to reinvest it. And before you know, with time, you begin to make more. And that is really how to sustain passion. That is really how to fuel the vision. You begin to think, what is my reason of existence? Now, what is lacking in the world? What else can I do to make the world a better place? And this is what humanitarian does. This is what we can do for humanity. And sincerely, this is just the least we can do. Everyone, I keep saying, no matter the small quota, no matter your little resources, there is something you can do to make a difference. And that very thing, do it when you can. Thank you so much.
There is something you can do to make a difference. And that is, these are very, I love the nuggets you guys are giving, because the beauty is that in the mindset sport, we get ideas that generate more ideas. And what you are saying, building from what Stephen said, and now you brought up the aspect of unrealistic educational system, which all of us went through the same educational system, the cram and write, the theoretical with no practice, that then we end up with the mentality that we are told that government will give us a job so that we can wear suit and tie and carry a bag and go sit on a chair behind this. That is a failed.
But doctor, I thought it's different in Kenya.
Well, the African educational system is pretty much the same, I have not really seen the educational system, and I stand to be corrected, but from the best of my knowledge, I haven't seen an educational system that is premised on tailoring solutions to the challenges that Africa faces today. It's still the theoretical, certificate driven to come out and get a job, a white collar job for that matter. And that is why this conversation on how to change mindset, so that people can start noticing that the education they need is not necessarily the education in the classroom. And just to clarify this, education is important. But what we are talking about now is that the certificate you have is not enough if you don't have an extra skill that you can use to turn a challenge into an opportunity. Of course, in education, you can learn to read, you can learn to speak English, you can learn to speak any other languages. But the point is, that is not enough. And therefore, what we really need now is not necessarily just education in the classroom, because the mindset change ideas from how to take advice to getting passionate to developing purpose. Like Riley says, a clear purpose, inspired, purposeful passion. If you know that I need to do this, then your passion can never quench, because I need to be useful. And in the course of doing that, it brings money. So money is a consequence of an action of offering value, but it is not taught in school. It is not taught in school that even if you have a PhD and you are not useful to community, you will still not be relevant. So this is the biggest school. So I would now say that the mindset sport is the biggest school. So we need to really now start preaching this, and this space now where it's a school, because we are talking about things that are not in our traditional educational system. And that takes me to a point, which is, and I'll go to Bula on this, which is from what Isika say on purpose, which ties, you need to know what you want to be useful about. And these are things that are not taught in school. Given the fact that across the entire continent, very few people really have this in their system that I need to do something to be useful, to turn a challenge into an opportunity. What steps do you think needs to be taken to ensure that this message really start to sink, given that it is absent in our educational system, in our educational curriculum? Yes, Bola.
All right, thank you for that, sir. Okay, if I got it right, what are the actions that are required for us to start ensuring that people take the steps that are required to? Well,
Yes, yes.
I believe one of the point I made mentioned previously, like in the aspect that when we start instilling, like when we start putting it in the heart of people when they're younger, like I think that will make a difference when we start teaching them, when we start making known to them subconsciously that okay, this is the path that you ought to take. And also the other step that I would actually love to say is also the aspect that I believe parents to also have a huge impact on this aspect, even though the educational system might not be sustainable, like in terms of like providing everything that we need as being people that provide value, people that have a purpose, like developing our purpose, our passion, and everything. But I believe parents have a major role to play on this. Like I remember I can't remember exactly the name of this wealthy person, but I remember that the effect of what he did to his children, and like what he did was he actually raised his children in an entrepreneur with an entrepreneurial mindset, whereby I can't remember his name, but whereby I remember that whereby he started at a particular age, he started giving his children chores and started giving them money, and they couldn't spend all the money, like they couldn't spend all the money. He created like what he did basically was he made them understand that in order to achieve something, you need to get something. And when you get that thing, when you achieve, don't spend it all. Learn to use it wisely to achieve more. So that he as a parent, he was able to pass on that message to his children. Fine, the school might not, and I don't literally, I hope it changes like that in schools, but I don't literally see it changing like that the next 2 or 3 years. But still, like if the parents themselves are able to push it out to their children, if the parents are able to not just encourage them, but they themselves ensure that as they are growing up, that mindset is being imbibed in them. And
Right.
like the man did, what the man did after the man did that, I heard that all the children, all of them are making it right now. They're happy, they're living a better life, they're well wealthy. And that's one of the, I think, greatest step that we can actually use to instill this in young minds
Yeah.
and in people around.
That's a very good point, Stephen. Before I go to Isika, that attitude goes back to what you said before. We must adversity prepares us to succeed, because then when we see a challenge, we think solutions. We will not think complaining. But that attitude is not is not easily acceptable in the current dispensation in which we are today. You tell someone to volunteer, say, that one they give me wait, I go again. So it's more about what they want rather than what I need to do to get a skill to then get what I want. And so that point you are bringing is a very, very important point. And I think we need to continue to drive this message, because the attitude at the moment, it's about want, not about what is needed to get what you want. And what is needed is a skill. So I think Marcel Desailly is saying that, Emmanuel, you said that when you started earning money, you lost passion. So his question is, isn't money a means that should facilitate you to do more? Over to you, Emmanuel.
Thank you so much for that awesome question. Now, truly, money ought to facilitate you to do more. But the truth is, when there is excess money, at some point, if the resources is not well controlled, well utilized, you forget the reason you start at the first. Yeah, you forget the reason you start at the first. Because at that moment, you move from level 0 to a level of hero. You move from management to excess and sufficiency. You move from nothing to luxurious. I'm going to give an example. Most of us know Flutterwave. in Yaboyeji is one person which I share it is the most. And then he was citing an example, Ihone House at Lekki. And then after some time, he exited Flutterwave and he's building it's building Talent City. And after some time, he discovered that at Lekki, the luxury was there. His house was a luxury. His environment was a luxury. And then that passion to go about transforming the country was no more. Then the wife called him one day and he said, Oni, I think something needs to be done. Yeah, let's move from Lekki to Yaba. And they moved. And before you know it, in the space of 1 month, Ini was back building Talent City and solving the problem, building Silicon Valley for Africa. What actually changed? Moving out of your comfort zone, becoming uncomfortable. Because when you are too comfortable, when you have those resources, anything you need, before you know, you forget the main reason why you started.
Let me interject here, Esika. Comfort is what everyone, and I would say nearly everyone in the continent yearns for. Can you not comfortably say that it's because of comfort that we are in the mess we are in as a continent?
Yes, it's because that's all we seek, comfort. that's all. Doctor, seriously, that is all the average African seek. Why do you want to own a house? Comfort. Why do you want to buy that car? Comfort. For ladies, okay, why are you looking for someone that is...
Before you go to that, just so we clear this for those who are listening, the discussion is not about... You need to become comfortable in what you are doing to touch others' life, but you cannot become comfortable in only thinking about yourself and wanting always not offering value. So I just want to clear that, because someone could say, no, we are saying people should not be... No, that's not the point. The point is your passion should never quench. Even if you get what you want, you should continue and move that forward. That is really, really, really great, Esika. Complete it. Then there is a question to Bola here, which is it's to boot Emmanuel and Bola. Mark said this. Actually, this is Bola Stephen. He said, as a young person, would you say, he said, what would you say is the biggest threat to progress? I think very important question. I'll start with you, Esika, then I move to Bola, since you were saying something almost equivalent to that, a threat to progress. Money is a threat to progress. So what would you say is the biggest threat to progress as a young person?
Okay, for that, one of the biggest threats to progress is really like becoming too comfortable. Mark the word, like too comfortable. It's like you are okay with where you are. And when you are okay with where you are, there is no need to rise up. There is no need to move forward. Because you are okay, you'll be stagnant. 10 years, you will still be okay. 20 years, you will still be okay. So there is no need to move forward. But the moment you get angry, you become uncomfortable. The moment you remember that you're on borrowed vision, I think that's the word doctor used, on borrowed vision. That's correct. It's something you have right from scratch. That vision to change the world, that vision to change your society, that vision to change your environment. The moment you remember that, you discover that your resources is really a means to an end. It's what makes the journey smoother. It's what makes you begin to acquire things and just to do more. Yes, do more, you do more. Before you are influencing one life with just your little resources. Now you triple it. Or you put it times 7, times 100, because that resources is becoming more and more. So that is it. So the biggest threat to progress is forgetting your vision and really becoming too comfortable where you are.
Forgetting vision and becoming comfortable with yourself. So anytime it becomes about yourself, then you are on the right track. Let's take a break, and when we come back, the same question to you, Bola. What destroys a young person? What makes a young person not to move forward? The threat to progress. We'll be right back.
My name is Steffi Maingi, an innovative volunteerism actor. We as youth have been trained how to retool our skills, and we have gained a number of skills. One of them being fabricating a solar dryer, as what you can see behind here. So today we are in Mwea, and we have fabricated a solar dryer, which is going to help farmers dry their rice, not only their rice, but bananas, cassava, maize, and other value chains. This is going to help them to cut on the post-harvest losses that they have been experiencing so far. And we are going to test out the dryer with them, train them how to use the dryer, and they can give us their feedback.
The dryer will benefit the community by they brought their produce there, and the community will not lose their nutrients for the produce.
Yes.
This sun dryer will help me by drying rice, and I will dry maize and cassava. This community will be helped because they will be coming with rice, and we will be drying here.
And what can you say to the youth that have brought this solar dryer here today?
To the youth who has brought this dryer here today, I would congratulate them, and I will give a lot of thanks.
Yeah.
Actually, to the youths who have fabricated such a project, I wish to congratulate them a lot.
To the youth who are doing great across the continent, we congratulate you. And we congratulate you, Bula and Isika, for the time you've taken to share these nuggets of wisdom. So, Bula, youth are doing things across the continent. And when they're doing it, it reaches a point sometimes the energy you see in them just get dissipated. And to use the word that Isika used, which I use, on borrowed vision, they start to chase what I call experimental vision. Something is just brought, they jump over it, you ask them, so why are you really behind this? Say, it's money, I need to make money, I need to make money. No vision, no passion, no purpose. So what is the biggest threat? What is causing them? Let me just throw the question a different way. What makes people, especially young people, chase something that is just about them to get what they need for themselves rather than them thinking about what they can do to touch lives in communities? Which is still going back to that point, the biggest threat to progress.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. Like you said, I think one of the biggest threats we have in our society today, in our community today, is the fact that now we live in a world that there's internet. Although as advantageous as it can be, it causes a lot of distractions, and it's okay. I need to bring from a point that my friend Mano said comfort, even beyond even you getting to the point at which you have money, you have everything you want. Even holding your device, you could open Instagram, then start scrolling through reels, and you be stuck there. You come too comfortable absorbing different content, and you see most of this content at the end of the day will definitely be showing people that have actually gotten to a certain point in their life whereby they are living some or most of them are actually living a fake luxurious life, and you think that it's just as easy as
I have to interject here because I think you are touching an issue that is so important. All the issues you guys are touching are important, but this particular one, we are seeing the retrogression in our young people with social media. And so the question that I want to build on what you have just said so that you can continue to expand on it.
Yes, sir.
Social media, because Africa, the platforms have not been developed from the continent. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and you name the rest. That's not an issue. Of course, the platform is not supposed to be developed from here. But the biggest consumers of these platforms are Africans. That's not a problem. But the question then is, what do they consume it for? And you have put a point where they look for comfort, post photos. That's not a problem. Or watch just big cars and all those sort of stuff. But the creators of those apps created those apps to make money, to solve a problem, to connect people together, like Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg. You know the story of how he came. You guys are ICT guys, so you know how he came up with that platform to connect people. Then it ended up where it is today. So my question is, are you using social media to turn challenges to opportunities, or they're using social media only to advance the complaining and blame game because they are seeing this opulence and a kind of flashy life that doesn't exist and that is making them to think that where they are, they're not supposed to be. And how can we reverse this? Please just expand on that. It's a very serious issue.
Okay. All right, sir. Okay. For the social media aspect, I see it as whenever you're going to use like the platform is a great platform. Take for example, there are times whereby probably I need an idea of doing something. I go to social media also. Like it's good, and also if you need something to relax, it's also something you could just scroll. But when something is done too much, it becomes a problem. Like it's just like sugar, like cake. Now you could eat cake. A cake is good, it's delicious, but when you eat it too much, it becomes something that could be dangerous to your health and everything. And in terms for social media right now, like for social media right now, like when you go there, you could go there. What matters the most to that I see when you're going to social media is the kind of mindset you go there with. Like take for example now, personally, I okay, on my Instagram page now. If you happen to log into my Instagram page right now, like the first one of the first tabs you might see might be like a setup or something. Like the reason I follow that, the reason I see check that is just okay. I have a particular goal on my goal sheet that okay, this is what I want to achieve. But I'm not doing it in terms of I'm not checking them in terms of okay, I want to I'm not there, like I'm not achieving that at the moment. But I'm just checking that's in terms of as a reminder that okay, yes, this is what so even though I go to my Instagram, even though I go to my social media, the way because these contents they actually learn like for people that are a bit that are techies, they understand that they actually learn your pattern, they study you. So whatever you go there for, whatever you sit there for, that's what will be giving back to you. So now on my own social media, what I've done to an extent is that anytime I go to my social media, most of what I get are the things that the contents that I actually want that I use to drive myself forward now. Take for example, when I go to social media now, I could see someone editing a video in a particular way, and I'll be like, wow, I could do this. Okay, fine. I might not be doing it at that point in time, but just watching it, like let's say I go on YouTube now, just watching it now is definitely going to help me in my forward endeavor. I could receive a task today and I'll just be like, oh yes, I've learned this before. So now when we are approaching social media, I believe one of the ways we can actually find it's good if you want to use it for comfort, but don't use it too much. That's one of my advice. Don't use it too much. It can be so addictive, and it will result to a lot of problems at the end of the day. And also one thing I also learned that in social media is that not everybody that poses as who they are who they are. Some also they're also trying to figure out themselves in life. And if you try to imitate your life in that pattern, that way in which they portray themselves in, you're going to have a lot of issues because they themselves are still trying to figure themselves out. And
Right.
also,
You have said, Ebola, I just want to follow up on that before I get to Sika. A lot of imitation. And that imitate, because the point is, from the previous questions of comfort without actually nurturing the passion to do something that can be able to solve a problem in the community. Comfort more, so I can sum it up to the individualistic, selfish mentality or attitude that have engulfed people to think only about themselves and how to make themselves comfortable. So they forget the needs and now they just want to go to want. The social media aspect that you've indicated, you use it to gain more skills to do your work. But that is not generally the norm across the continent. It is used as a space to abuse, to chastise, and the number of hours that are used there could have actually been used to study how to make solar dryer, how to make briquettes, or how to even learn to develop an app or to do the design that you are doing. So my point is, what advice? I know you've already said that people will become addictive to it, but a person who is already comfortable doing it and knowing and using it as the turbocharger to advance their arguments of why things are not working in the continent rather than looking for solutions to solve, will continue doing that because it's easy. What advice can you give them? You are a young person who is using this space to learn and to find solutions. So from your experience, what advice can you give them?
Okay. Thank you for that, sir. Well,
Before you start, just I think Marcel Desailly say congrats to both Emmanuel and Awole. Yeah, I think so. It's Bula Stephen, right? Yes, and for taking the path least followed, finding your purpose first and nurturing your passion to achieve it. You guys are doing great. Thank you very much, Marcel Desailly, for the great questions. Proceed, Stephen.
All right, thank you, sir. And also thank you, Masi. I don't know if you know, but thank you very much. All right. Okay. One of the ways I would advise people to stop. First of all, like doctor said the other time, he said these people that develop these things, they develop it to solve a particular problem. They develop to make their lives better, and
Correct.
in a way, when you spend all your time munching on someone else's achievement and not actually discovering, not actually working in your own light, in your own purpose and plan, you eventually start living to make other people's dreams work out for them, and your own dreams are just keep dying. So I believe if you keep this mindset with you, that the fact that uh, when you are killing your own dream, the more you are letting yourself go, letting yourself get too attached or too comfortable in this kind of sphere, it becomes so draining, and you not realize how far you've left your dreams and purpose. Because literally, social media, the way they've built it right now, you could stand there. And also, like, why? Okay, I'll stop there. But the second thing I also advise for anybody that is probably, if it's probably struggling with walking around social media, probably if you sit down with social media for hours and everything, I realized one of the things that worked for me is because at the point in my life, I also realized that I was spending a lot of hours on social media, and at the end of the day, there's nothing to bring back for me. Like, well, what I was, if I spend 10 hours or 5 7 hours watching social media, I'm not gaining anything. And apart from setting it up the way I described it the other time, one of the ways I did is on my phone, I set the timer for each of my social media apps. So for a particular timer, like once it reached a particular time, the app automatically shuts off. So about at that point
Excellent.
in time, I realized that, okay, I need to get back to my work. So you in order to move, and you have to create this kind of environment whereby everything that surrounds you, everything that even on your devices, as fun and entertaining your devices is, they're also powerful to help you. It's an environment on its own. You can set up the environment in a way that it helps you stay focused, it helps you like keep going at what you're doing. And also, like, there are a lot, like the doctor said, there are a lot of criticism, there are a lot of things going on social media and everything. And the part is that the more you don't our advice to anybody, don't join them in those criticism. Because if you join them in the criticism, the people that did it today, like, come on, nobody is definitely going to go away on at some point in time, like, and eventually you're just wasting precious time, precious moments, whereby instead of you criticizing these things, you can actually solve this problem. Like we said the other time, like doctor said, Emmanuel also said, every problem, like, instead of us spending there are problems everywhere, there are situations going around, there are challenges in every part of the country, every part of the state, every part, even in our homes. But the more we complain about these things, we will just join everybody in what they are doing, and these problems just keep persisting, and we just keep making
That's
it.
it. I will interject there, Stephen. I mean, you bring up a very very important point. There is the attitude that it's easier elsewhere. That's not true. If you cannot succeed where you are, and success is not about having big cars or big homes. No, if you are not having the willingness to learn something that can then be used to get something, no matter where you go, you will still have difficulty, because you are going to also meet people there who are struggling and already are ahead of you because they're doing something to get what you want to get when you have not even started. And one of the biggest challenge that I have seen is that this I call them hard truths are not being told. And so the point you are making about using social media for solutions, social media is the best platform. I am in social media and all the platforms, but I communicate solutions. You will you hardly see me complaining, and you guys can attest. So the point is, social media is where you find partners. Social media is where you can learn a skill. Social media is where you can find a market to market your product. But instead of the social media being used to market, which some people do excellently. I mean, people are using it to market their products and they're making millions out of it. But the majority use it just to sometimes abuse or sometimes share comments. There's nothing wrong with that. So the point I'm making, building on what you said, which is very solid and excellent, is use social media to learn skills, to solve problems, and use social media to market your solutions so that at least you create partnerships and solve problems. Like today, we are connected on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. We are reaching over 50,000 people. That's social media and communicating solutions. So that is excellent. Let me get to you, Esika. And there is a question here from Maxed Desai. I don't know if is the footballer or is anyway, let's focus on the content. He is asking this question to you, Bola and Emmanuel. I think you've touched on, but let me ask Emmanuel that taking the path least followed. He's appreciating you people for taking the path least follow and finding your purpose. But there is a question that he asked here, which was that to both of you, that what I've said is that that have expanded on what wants and needs, that in a very out of the box way, what are the two most important needs that you are addressing to achieve your wants? Esika, over to you.
Okay.
And before you, when you answer that, I will still get back to the social media before we run off, because that's a very, very crucial topic that I hardly see it discussed in the continent from the perspective of the damage it is doing to Africa rather than the opportunities it is creating.
Okay. Thank you so much. If you've been following from the onset of the conversation, there's been much emphasis on value, and that is basically my need: creating more value for myself. And when I mean value, it means coming to how do I increase my competitiveness in the workforce? How do I increase my skills? How do I do more with my company? How do I boost my reach in my NGO? How do I get more educated? Now, these are always my need. How to add more value basically to myself. Now, because I've come to realize that the more value you add, the more results you get. And that has to do with what? Yeah, you'll be able to have the end goal will be enough money in the bank to solve anything you want to do anything you want to do for yourself. And then this just has to do creating value. And basically to make this plain, what I've been doing has been building the future of education for Africa and same with the globe. And this has to do with personal rise, helping people become more competitive in the workforce and then helping companies blossom. And I've been doing this, and with the NGO, I've been creating employment opportunities, helping people get the same job. And lastly, I've been helping build applications to help connect farmers to the market. So these are the things I've been doing while working full time as a marketer with a company. So I've been really busy, not being busy, but busy creating value. Why? Because that is the most excessive part of it. And in the long run, I know that this is going to add up together. They are already adding up. Yes, my finance is already skyrocketing. They are adding up. Now, because I know that's not all.
For those of you who are listening, did you hear that? Volunteering is now yielding dividend. Continue, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
And then I'll get to the social media
That's
question.
not how. So that's not how there is, because there is really more. That's why I keep doing more, engaging in more, producing more results. Because I know the more I add up to this lead, the more I'm able to meet my wants and to live the luxury life. That is, if I even ever want to live that. Because the kind of life I want to live is a life of impact and not really a life of luxury. And thank you so much.
Wonderful. A life of impact, not only a life of luxury. then luxury seems to be what is confusing a lot of youth. And I will still say this, and I stand on what I am saying. Nobody is saying that people shouldn't engage or live a luxurious life. No, that's not the conversation. The conversation is, how can you sustain impact? Because luxury should be an offset of impactful actions that you undertake, not the other way around. So I just wanted to clarify that. And Isika, before I move back to Bula, the impact of social media. The social media is the best opportunity. People are using it for the good. But it seems the consumption is mostly about complaining, about blame game, and then about opulence and luxurious aspects that then only fuel this apathy, complaining, blame game, and then people only focusing on want rather than on need to do what is needed to get what they want. So, what would you say to a young person who is watching us now? How can he or she use social media effectively? Not only posting photos, nothing wrong with that. You can post, because now you see people, you're eating, you post. That's not a problem. That's their right. But why I'm still focusing on this is that I have actually noticed the misuse of social media, which young people could have actually been using to seize so many opportunities, to learn an idea from other youths. So what's your take? Very briefly, then I'll get back to Bula and then come back, because we'll run up in the next 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, Isika.
Doctor, I got caught up a bit, so I did not get.
Okay, you got caught up a bit. Let me just say, Maxed Desai is saying that one thing we learn about social media use is to cultivate self-discipline because it's irreplaceable. Let me put the question this way. To what extent is lack of self-discipline the problem with the misuse of social media?
Okay. Thank you so much. I would say self-discipline comes when you are using social media for the wrong thing. Yeah. You can't be making money, creating value, adding value to yourself on social media, and then you're talking about you want to self-discipline. Do you want to cut short the value you're adding? Do you want to cut short your finances? No. It is when you are spending time on social media and those time are not adding up. That is where self-discipline comes in place. So take a look at example. If you are spending 5 hours a day on Instagram, and then that is what your work is paying you for, spending 8 hours per day on this Instagram, do you want to say you want to become self-disciplined? No, because the more time you spend on it, the more money you tend to make from it.
I
That's
think
it. So the more
let me
time you
just
spend
interject.
on it,
Yeah, let me just
the
interject.
more
Zika. I think the point Maxed Desai is making is that to be able to use social media to create value and generate revenue, you need self-discipline. So what
yes,
you are saying is correct, that if you are using it to create value, that means that you have a sense of self-discipline before you can go down that road, because those who are indisciplined are using it not to create value, and they end up losing, not knowing that they are losing, but just feeling in their mind that they are up there and using it for wrong reasons. So the question is, do you think that lack of self-discipline is the reason that social media is being misused, and is also the reason that people are not building value?
yes, sir. That is really the reason. Why? Because as we've been eating, even in the past webinar, you are an average of the 6 people you consume their content and you follow. So if you are caught up in the space of things that are not adding up in social media, let's take a look. I won't give example. If you are not following content that add value to you, then there needs to be self-discipline. What I did with my Twitter, I think this was this year, was I was seeing relationship stuff. I was not looking for a relationship. I was looking for how to add value to myself. So what I did was anyone that retweets relationship, sexual related content, I just go to the person profile, I click the more button, and I block. I will never see that content again. And before you know, in the space of 2-3 weeks, I started seeing content that had value, that has to do with creation of companies, that has to do with mindset, that has to do with entrepreneurship, that has to do with job seekers. So I was never tired of Twitter because then I spent most of my time on LinkedIn because I thought Twitter was trash. But when I put on this, I discipline myself. I decide on which content I want to, because it's my Twitter. I own it. I own it. So whatever I want to see is what I want to see. So those content that are not adding up, I just remove it. So you need to ask yourself, because the first step to self-discipline is asking yourself, what actually do I really want? Where do I really want to be? Now, who are those people that are where I am? Who are those people that have achieved? Now, what you do is you follow these people that are distracting you. You unfollow people that are distracting you, and you follow people that will impact you. Once you do this, you'll be self-disciplined, because you can't be on Twitter always, because these people are not tweeting content always. They are not on Twitter always.
But Isika, let me interject here. And then before I interject, I think Sinclair is saying something very interesting, that social media and self-discipline in relation with time and how it affects an individual psychologically, emotionally, socially, especially if it's not aligned with one's goals. And that's what we seem to be seeing a lot. People are psychologically and emotionally affected from the examples you have given, but we see a lot of people still clinging to follow all those things, not following people who can add value to them. And like you said, you are an average of the people who surround you. And so if you are around negative energy, that negative energy is likely to engulf you. And I think she says again that it is the fascination of the Internet of Things, and it offers a reality that is out of touch from things on the ground. I think that's really great. And then Maxed Desai is saying that focusing on impact, not optics and luxury. Very informative from you guys. I think this is really, really great. So what I want to ask you before I go to Bua is, do you think that the attitude that is displayed on social media by us as citizens across the continent is a reflection of the very attitude that we have towards the challenges that we face? What's your take?
Yes, I will really agree with that. Why? Because the fastest way negativity, bad news spread fastest through social media. Now, how do people get to say Africa is not working? It's because in social media, all you see is Africa is not working. So that is really what's happening. So those negativity are being spread around on social media. And when you look at this, you discover that these are not adding to anything. They are just leaving people discouraged. They are leaving people useless, unuseful, and then unfulfilled. But when you surround with positive things, with positive people, with positive mindset, you begin to realize that there is change in mindset, as we are on the mindset spot, because that is the foundation of everything. There is change in mindset. And when there is change in mindset, you begin to take action, even as I said earlier, and then your life changes drastically. And social media can be a tool, a life-changing tool. It depends on how you use it. Thank you.
Exactly. It is a life-changing tool. That is a fact. But just like the challenges that the continent faces are disguised opportunities and they are not seized, it's the same thing. Social media is an opportunity, but it's used for wrong intention mostly. And we're not saying that everybody is using it for wrong intention, but we are diagnosing this with young people who are using social media and developing solutions to address community problems. And they're doing this through volunteering themselves. And there is this very important aspect to all of you who are watching us out there, that your biggest ability is your availability. So, Bula, the aspect of self-discipline is very, very crucial, not only in using social media, but in every endeavor in life. But what we see is that people are interested in the product, not in the process. And that has become part and parcel, that anything you tell somebody to do, you said, what is in it for me? I want to get this, I want to get this, I want to get that. So to go back to the point we started off from, that we complain about what we don't have, but we don't ask ourselves what we as individuals can offer. So what do you think it will take for young people? Not only when I use the word young, it's not just young people in terms of age, even those who are young at heart, who have the interest of seeing progress with them contributing to it, and at the same time have the passion to support young people to succeed by ensuring that they see reality as it is, not the oblivious state it is. So what do you think can be done to ensure that each and everyone become a self-disciplined citizen wherever they are, to start doing what needs to be done? Over to you. Share your ideas.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, I at the beginning of this live chat, I said something. I quoted the what the man Plato said. He said, the first and best victory is victory over oneself, and the best and best victory over oneself. And if we are to achieve that point in which we are self-disciplined, that means every waking moment, it's not like it's going to be easy. It's not like it's going to be easy. It's not milk and only every time. But that focus, first of all, what I think is important to achieve self-discipline is, one, you should have a goal. Like Emmanuel said the other time, there's a need for you to have a goal. You have to have a goal. You have to have a vision. You have to know. If you, even you might not entirely know how you're going to achieve it. You might not entirely know how you're going to achieve it. You might never have um the full picture of the vision yet, but those glimpses that you have, work with them. And because when you have them, and especially when you have them written down, you have something that will give you that drive to overcome yourself every day. Because what I've come to realize, that the battle to win yourself, to become to have victory over yourself, is not a battle that is won in a single day. It's a battle that you have to fight every single day. So every waking moment, when you wake up, you keep fighting like yourself, not like try punching yourself, but you keep looking at those situations. A lot of things are going to come that want to bring you down. A lot of things are going to come that want, but you keep moving, and one of the best ways you keep moving, that realize that that goal, that thing you've had written down, that vision, like I said, it needs to be clear. Like now, it could be like, okay, next year I want to be in a like I want to be in one of let's say Facebook now. I want to be personal information, helping people do this and that. You don't know how you're going to get there. You don't even know what the type of job you're going to get. But you having that focus, and you just going online, and like we said, utilizing social media for good. Like you just going online, that okay, how to be a Facebook employee or something. Just do something to move yourself forward, and have that goal, and keep fighting. Don't give up. Everything will just you. And to end with this, like they said something, like whatever you do consistently, it eventually becomes an habit. So if you want to keep that self-discipline, if you want to keep yourself going, the moment you're able to keep fighting yourself every day, you see automatically, you just notice that you start moving in that direction in which you want to go to. The first few times might be a bit difficult, but over time you see yourself automatically going through that path, going through that place, that you just see yourself going to that direction. And that's it for me. That's how I can.
That's a very important way to sum up that aspect of self-discipline. And I think that this should be taught in schools. It should actually become the foundation of the educational system. Values, self-discipline, purpose, but more importantly, passion that drives one to follow his own unborrowed vision, not the experimental visions that I see people just chasing. And you ask them, what do you want? What are you doing? And all those aspects. I think we will take a break now, and then we will come back. We will start to run up. We'll be right back. Innovative Volunteerism Voices is your space to share your ideas on what you are doing on climate change, on the actions you are taking to drive and build climate resilience in communities. Innovative Volunteerism Voices is where young people across the entire African continent who are retooling their skills and turning their talents to skills and using these skills to devise climate action solutions to touch lives of mothers and children in communities, like simply fabricating solar dryers that are helping mothers reduce post-harvest losses, turning agricultural waste to fuel briquettes that are helping mothers move away from depending on charcoal that is choking millions and costing over 700,000 lives in the continent. Or we're talking about agricultural waste turned to biofertilizer that is replacing chemicalized fertilizers. These voices of climate action across the continent are shared here on these Innovative Volunteerism Voices. Stay tuned and join to listen and learn what innovations are happening across the continent, how climate action is being replaced with inspiration rather than despair, where climate action is inspiring youth to not only find their purpose, but to help turn themselves to solution providers. This space, Innovative Volunteerism Voices, is where nothing but knowledge triumphs. Stay tuned. Stay tuned indeed, and this is where knowledge and ideas triumph, and this is the spot where mindset change solutions are being provided. For all of you who are watching out there, we are discussing mindset change for solutions to drive transformational climate action across the continent. And I will start with you, Emmanuel, and the question is, as you can see here, we've just seen during the break, young people, innovative volunteerism actors who are doing things on the ground. And the question is, when you see a gap in a community, whether it is a gap in people who are lacking a solar dryer, or a gap in people who are using charcoal and you need to bring in briquettes, or it's a gap in people who are having plastic pollution, or it's a gap in so many aspects that we know or that we see in communities today. So you devise a solution like a solar dryer you see that was shown in the clip during break time, or it is briquettes to replace charcoal. How do you introduce it to the community? Because there is the attitude that community sometimes will reject something even though it's coming to solve a problem. It's coming to benefit them. So he is saying, I say this because there is a risk in community rejecting a solution. So how do you cover it up? How do you address that? What would you do if you take the app you guys have developed? What if people reject it? They don't use it. That's a practical one. You guys have developed an app to connect people from assessing, to connect people so that they can be able to assess these climate action solutions of clean energy, fuel briquettes, solar dryers, food that is dried using climate solutions. So how do you address that? Because these are realities. You will face this. This is a fact. Over to you, Esika. And I'll come to you, Bula, with the same question.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. And one thing is, it is true that community rejects solutions, but community don't reject solutions that address their problems.
Exactly.
It is true, I will repeat, it is true that community rejects solutions, but community don't reject solutions that address their problem. So you are developing a solution. The question is that a problem in that community? So once it is a problem, it is yours as an innovator to work with the community, even in the development of that solution. For example, let's take a look at solar dryers. So what you do is you speak with the community. Now, how do you dry your stuff? So you bring your product to the communities. You teach them how to use that solar dryer to dry your product. And they see that that is more efficient, more sustainable, more durable, faster, and even cheaper than your current solution. Because you've spelled this out to them, and then they will be able to embrace your solutions. That's why I said that communities do not embrace, do not reject solutions that address their problem. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
That's very true. Actually, when you feel a gap that is in demand in the community, they will gladly embrace that solution you are coming to fill a gap. They will become your market. They will become your partners. But what happens sometimes is that when you do that to benefit community with the intent to just turn challenges to opportunity, some people think that you are leveraging a kind of a cloud by solving that problem, and so they come in to obstruct. Not the community people want that solution, but there are some middle people that comes in to obstruct, not because they are doing it to hurt the community, but they're doing it to obstruct you, the individual. So how would you handle that? Because these are live realities that you guys will face when you hit the market.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Doctor. That's why I said in the first place is you work with these communities to like build a solution. Now, if there are people that are rejecting your solution, now you are building a solution not for a community, you are building a solution for communities. So if a
I love
community
that.
rejects
I
solution,
love that. You are building a solution not for a community, but for communities with an S. So if one fails, move to another.
you move to the
To
other.
another.
So now
Next.
the major thing is when the other embrace your solution, and the one who rejects your solution see the progress the other people has made because they accept your solution. They'll be forced to accept it. Now it's an adoption. Take an example when Twitter, when Nigeria banned Twitter, and they saw that their GDP reduced drastically. What happened? They have to unban it. It's just
You guys are so entertaining on this show today. I like the gist you guys are sharing. Yeah, I mean, Isika, that is really great. And then Bula, so the we focus on communities, not just on a community. And I think what Isika is saying is, and it's something that also happens in real life, not just in communities, where most of you who are innovatively volunteering, I believe you will give testimony someday that some people ask you, how do you do this without money? But once you start to succeed, they come to now try to meet you midway. Oh, you're succeeding. Please give me an opportunity there where you are. I believe some of you have heard this. I've heard that when I volunteer myself. So it's the same thing in community. So the point you guys are making, which I think is really great, is do not spend a lot of time where things are not working because of obstruction. Find where you can have acceptability. And once it works there, even those who are rejecting it will definitely do a catch up to pick that up. Do you agree, Bula?
Yeah, yes, I do. I agree with this point. Actually, it's a very awesome one. The other thing I just get to add is that also like you said, also like even in the communities, like when the community adopts something, the other community, but even within the community, although you might not be able to capture the minds of everybody, but as long as you find just one person that believes in the solution you're providing, every other person will come in. And also, I one of the ways I believe that could work is when also involving the community in the solution you're providing. So like because at times some people will never because to them it's a whole mystery. They don't know what your intent is, they don't know how it's been done, they don't even know what you're trying to. Some people, although you tell them that this is what you're trying to achieve, they still don't know, they still don't, their minds are not. So like in the little spheres, in the little part, you can involve the community in your own project. Take for example now, let's say you go to let's say you come to Nigeria now and you want to do a big project in Nigeria, and you're providing a solution. Let's say like now, like Uber now. Imagine Uber coming to an African nation and they only employ white men alone. Before the black men will be able to really, really come to that fact that okay, this, that they will not, people will even reject it at first because they believe that it's the only white men that must be driving around. They believe that there's something else to it. But when they start employing black men, the people in the community start themselves employing themselves their job. They start encouraging other people that, oh, you could use this, you could use that. Other people start sharing the news for you. And I believe in driving a solution to a particular space, that the best people to actually help communicate your solution, and it's not you yourself or your team members, but the people in the communities themselves. Those are the best people that will help you communicate it and spread it, the solution for you. So that's it.
You hit the right, you struck the right spot on this mindset spot. Actually, you did. Why do I say so? There is this mentality that if so many people are not on my idea, I cannot move with it. But what it's saying is the one person who buys to it work with the person, and then the person will take to the next person, and then it will become a chain reaction of so many actors who will embrace it. I really hope those who are listening are getting this, because I hear the complaints, oh, a lot of people are not getting to my solution, only a few people. But the question I always ask is, why don't you build on that person so that at least work with the person so that they can bring in another person, and then another person brings in another person? And you know the reason why this comes up, because people want things to happen within a twinkle of a second. The world doesn't function that way. It needs time. You need to endure pain. You need to convince people. Because the reason I'm bringing this up is because I want to touch one aspect before we start concluding, is that people focus on the what, not on the why. They focus on the what and how, not on the why. If you take Apple, whether you're talking about the phones or the computers, and if you look at the way in which Steve Jobs used to explain, he used to explain why that MacBook is so important that you will need it because it will solve A, B, C, D. He was not explaining how the MacBook will do this and what the MacBook will do. So if you discover why you are doing something, you are turning agricultural waste into fuel briquettes because you want that mother not to choke with pollution because she's depending on charcoal. You want that mother to live and use clean cooking, which is cheaper than charcoal, and she can be able to save her life and her family, and at the same time use an environmentally friendly solution. That's the why. Then you get a market. But a lot of people start explaining the how and the what this thing will do, what it will do. No. So we end up not actually engaging people from the perspective of what they can see that, oh, this is actually my immediate need being addressed. We end up explaining to them how to make briquettes. The mother in the village is not interested on how to make briquettes. Or the mother in the village is interested on, this is why these briquettes are good for you. They're cheaper. They're good for your health. Try this and see what will happen. You go start, oh, this is how I made briquette. I had to go carry agricultural waste, cassava peelings, then I put into this machine. That's already a turnoff. And that's the same thing with climate change. The jargon is explained from, oh, the world is, sea levels are rising. Yes, that's fine. But my mother in the village doesn't know that. But if I explain to her that this solar dryer you see here is going to dry your maize, your beans, your cassava in 3 hours, as compared to you drying it 7 hours on the ground, which is contaminated with stones and with dust. Say, oh, wow, this is amazing. Why? To close the gap of her losing her food. So I decided to bring this up because you brought up a very important point, you and Esika, that work with the willing, and from the willing, even if it is one person, you start to build what I call a coalition of the willing, a coalition of people who can then be able, who are solutions oriented. Coalition of the willing who are solutions, because there are also coalition of the willing who are complainers in chief. No, coalition of the willing who are solutions oriented. I mean, I thought it was just good to build on this. It was so exciting. And I can see here, Marcel Desai saying, chain reaction growth. This is it. Yes, this is it. And you guys are doing well with giving this nugget, and this is it. So now we have, I think the interest is just too much. I can see comments coming in. So let's add in 15 minutes. What I want us now to focus on now will be, you are made the youth ambassador for Africa. What will be your core message, Bula, to the youth of Africa, knowing what you know and building on what we have discussed here? What will you tell them, knowing who they are, what they are up to? What will you tell them, and how will you convince them to become solutions providers? Bula, before I move to Isika.
Okay, okay. That's a bit of a big one, but okay. I believe what at this point I am right now, what I would love to communicate, judging from should I say from my country right now, is what I'll communicate to them is the fact that a lot of people have this mindset that, because first of all, I want to remove the barrier mindset that I believe almost all Africans have, that because we are based on our race or something, that we are limited. And in the actual sense, it's not like that anymore. Fine, it's for spheres of the world, you might face some kind of limitations or something, but in the deep sense, it's not like that anymore. So first of all, once I believe that what for the following things I'll communicate to the youth is the fact that, one, you're not limited. The only person that can limit you is you yourself. And the moment you're able to overcome that limitation that you've placed on yourself, no one is going to limit you. Fine, you might meet some stuffs and everything, it's not over. And just coming from the word it's not over too, is the fact that you might have gone through a lot of experience, you might have gone through a lot of things. Like now, like in my country now, I remember that there are some people that I meet along the way, they'll be like, when is my country going to be good? Things like that, when is the country is going to be good and everything. I keep telling them that it's not over for the country yet. Fine,
Absolutely.
now it might look like everything's a bit upside down and everything, but it's not over for the country yet. Definitely, there'll be a storm, there'll be everything. So for the youth, what I'm saying is for the youth is, don't give up. The dream is still there, and don't like, understand the fact that some people might be like, oh, why do I stay? Personally, too, if I have the opportunity of moving from my country to another country, I won't mind. But don't run away. Don't go and stay there because the more you run away and go and stay there, fine, it's good, it's good. I'm not disputing that, but you could stay here, you could go, come, you could learn from their own development and bring the development to you, to this place, to the Africa itself. I used to tell people that if you're to look at, if not because of the things Africa has gone through, like personally, I believe Africa should be one of the greatest continents in the whole world because we have everything possible, human resources, every single thing, natural resources, we have it possible. And Africa has everything to be great, and we ourselves, we are great, we are resilient. We've gone through a lot of things that could naturally bring a normal human being down, but we keep fighting, we keep going. And this is like this continue from the point I made, that development starts from us. And if we ourselves, we like, we saying we see challenges, we see situations, we see problems, like we see that there's a problem going on right now, instead of us complaining at this present moment as youths, instead of us saying that, okay, yeah, there's this limitation and everything, instead of us saying, okay, the best thing is to run. No, we can go learn from their development, come here, improve it here. Fine, if you're not able to achieve it in your own lifetime, but think of it as this way, that whatever you do right now will be something else that someone will take over from you. And at the end of the day, when you're getting the second or the third generation, you're making life better for millions, if not billions of people. And if everybody has this mindset as a youth all over Africa, we are definitely going to rise up as the great people. Like the great people that we are indeed, we will definitely rise up as that. And that will be my message to the youth. So.
What a loaded, inspiring, passionate message, Bula Stephen. Honestly speaking, the word you use, you are unlimited. And I really hope that everybody listening out there, you are unlimited. You have unlimited potential. Your dreams are valid and you can achieve anything. You have unlimited potential. And you brought up a point, which is very important, that our founding fathers fought for self-determined rule. At that time, there was no Twitter or Facebook. At that time, they had nothing. But if you see the unity of purpose, that actually, and the passion and the resilience and the sharp vision, the laser sharp vision they had at the time, they conquer adversity. Today, like you said, Bula, when there is a little challenge, you see young people giving up instead of looking at solutions to solve the problem and then use the data that comes out of that problem to then make a case for enabling policies to be put in place. Because the reality is, value attracts value. When you complain without putting something on the table, people will not take you serious. Because I always say youthfulness is usefulness. If you are not useful, then you are not youthful. If you are youthful, then you should be useful. And if you are useful, then you are youthful. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
I am Deladem, an innovative volunteerism actor in Ghana under the UNEP Bafosa Innovative Volunteerism Initiative. I'm really excited and thankful for the structured guidance and inspiration I've received through this Bafosa Innovative Volunteerism Initiative towards finding my passion in driving climate action from a solution perspective. Through innovative volunteerism, together with my fellow innovative volunteerism actors in Ghana, we have retooled our skills diversely and aligned them to create an enterprise approach in delivering an urgent climate solution in Ghana. We're also working to ensure that Ghana's forests never again need to be cut down to provide charcoal, and are doing so by providing an alternative sustainable fuel, which is this briquettes we make. These are proven to be an excellent substitute to charcoal as they burn longer, hotter, and smoke far less to ensure we reduce indoor pollution. What we are doing here is responding to our community's need for clean, affordable cooking options while keeping the environment intact. By this solution, we are also responding to Ghana's policies, especially contributing to the implementation of Ghana's commitment to combat global climate change, popularly known as Ghana's Nationally Determined Contributions, NDCs. We are also operationalizing the policy on expanding clean cooking to avert deforestation, and by doing so, leveraging on what we have, which is us, our passion, our talent, and our skills and energy.
Wow, wow, wow. Passion and skills. You heard that. Passion and skills, not complaining and blame game. Esika, the same question I asked Bula. You are made the youth ambassador for Africa. Given what you know and the caliber and the attitudes we all see every day, what would you do?
Wow. The first thing I'm going to do is to prepare a structural program for a mindset shift. Not jobs, not entrepreneurship, not skill, mindset shift. Now, this program.
Please expand on that. Expand on that. What is mindset shift? Go, proceed.
That a change of mindset from that of depending on people, on government, on society to do things, to using your own particular resources to achieve that very thing. So that's the very first thing. Put that course program in place. Now, the second thing is to make a large call for youth to become ambassadors, because I'm an ambassador, but I'm representing the youth. So I believe that everyone is an ambassador. So local ambassadors. Now, to call for this youth. So when we have this youth come together, now the next thing I will do is take them through that mindset shift program. After that, these youth are going to do the same to their community. And within the space of few times, there will be changes in the continent. Why? Because everyone has this mindset change. Everyone is using their resources, what they have, to get what they want. Now, the results will be overwhelming. And this is just the exact thing I will do. And this is just to buttress all the points that have been said so far. So that mindset is everything. Now, because the mindset will tell you, you use your resources. What you have to get what you want. You use your resources. Your resources are first, either the cash which you have, either the smartphone which you have, either the network which you have. These are your resources. And this is what that we put in place. And if I can do this, because this is very realistic, and this won't take lots of resources. It just needs the cooperation of the press. It needs the cooperation of the influencers. It needs the cooperation of people to put this in place. Not money. It doesn't need money. So money isn't what will change Africa. No. Money, what will change Africa is everyone coming together in partnership to bring in and to produce the Africa we all want. So this is basically what we do. Doctor, you're muted, sir.
Money is not what will change Africa. What will change Africa is each and every one of us bringing what we have, which is our skills, to turn challenges into opportunities. Wow, wow, wow. And you said that it's not about giving jobs to people, it's about a mindset shift. And one thing that I picked up is for anybody to be given anything anywhere, he or she must show the best line of what he or she has done with that money. What have you done with that money so that if you invested $1, we know that will multiply 500 times? That is a very, very important point. And another point that you have made, which is we do not have role models. Because from what you are saying, the mindset shift at the moment, the current mindset, or what I call the default or the false mindset, which is geared towards false satisfaction, it's one in which everybody wants to have what they are not developing what is needed to achieve. And therefore, what you are saying is we need incentives, and these incentives are not money. Incentives of providing right information, ensuring that people can then be able to offer value, and when they offer value, they will be rewarded if they can show that they offer value. In that way, we will have a collective system of useful people who then are youthful because they are useful, and all the problems of the continent will be turned into opportunities. Guys, I can tell you, you guys are amazing. I think I can see Maxey Desai saying that these youth are ambassadors, that you guys are ambassadors. Stephen and Emmanuel, that you guys are ambassadors. He says they are focusing on offering value to communities. They are focusing on their why. And he's saying that the biggest action and incentive is being an example, being exemplary. So you guys, please know that you are not only doing something that help communities and society, but you're also offering knowledge that a lot of people are listening to you, are learning. And this is something that we highly appreciate. So as you said, you guys, all the youths, they're unlimited. So now as we run up, what I then want to ask is, this is what we know. What you guys are saying is what is needed. Why is this not being done? Esika, then I go to Bula.
Okay. Doctor, I'm doing it. I'm changing my cycle.
Excellent.
Changing myself.
You are doing it, and Bula is doing it. So let me rephrase the question. That the question that I want now to ask is, it was beyond you guys. You guys are doing it. Why are other young people not copying what you guys are doing? Because you've explained your practical examples. Because this space, the mindset spot, is a spot where ideas are exchanged on how we can do things, also based on experience. You guys have given your experience, which is amazing. I've actually learned a lot from you guys. Though I knew what you guys were doing, but I didn't know that you had that extra talent and value that you can offer. So the point is, why are other young people not copying what you guys are doing? What is holding us back? So if I may use that word, what is holding us back, and how can we break the ice?
Okay. For me, I would say is that access to information, because for everyone I impart.
No, before you continue, let me intervene. Let me interject again. You mean access to information when they're having Twitter, LinkedIn, they are all on Instagram. So is it the lack of appetite for information, for the right information, or it's
they are digesting the wrong information?
Excellent.
Because
okay,
they are surrounding themselves with the wrong people. The right people are not getting out there. Their content are not being visible because this information are not going out. So even as the media promotes bad information about negativity, if this media can promote positive information about change, mindset shift, there will be a change in Africa.
Important point. I'll be jumping in, and please, I'm doing this because you are bringing up some points that I think I just want to build on them, so that at least we can extract a lot, especially those who are listening, because I see a lot of them joining in now, And those who are joining in, please, thank you. Share your comments, ask the questions you can ask here. What I want to ask you is now, the right information is not shared through the mainstream media. But Africa is actually one of the most religious continents in the world. And churches and mosques and religious institutions are supposed to nurture value, to spread information that can actually unleash the potential of a human being to be more purposeful. If the mainstream media gives wrong information, as you've said, why are our religious institutions not doing this, giving this information that we're discussing? Over to you, Esika.
Okay, I will say, doctor, that you can't give what you don't have. You only give what you have. Now, the religious institution, the churches, what they have is what they are giving, spiritual growth, and a little about building physical capacity. But then this exclusive information, it's just like how we got this is through mentorship, reading of books, by doing. That is how we got to know all this. But then we are speaking to our circles. We are speaking to our circles, those people we are able to reach to, and these people's life are being changed. And these circles, they are speaking to others, and the life are being changed too. So it's just a matter of time before this spread. Why? Because we are providing solution, and solution go viral at the right time. And that is simply it. This religious institution, to call it, because they don't really have this. Now, if there are people that are pushing this out consistently in churches, in mosques, in shrines, whatever the religious institution, in schools, in universities, then it's just a matter of time that this will spread wider. So all we need is these people with audiences, people with, like, let's just call them influencers. Even in these churches, there are influencers. In the mosque, there are influencers. Now, once they say anything, it's spread, just like wildfire. So what we need is these people having that same mindset like we do, able to help others like we do, with same drive and passion like we do, and this will spread like wildfire.
Yeah, but what you are saying is very, very correct. What I am getting from you is that the lack of information contributes to leveraging false narrative of things that are not working and then championing them. But we need to then start getting the information, the right information, which is what we are doing here on the Mindset Spot, the right information, so that at least people can then take and extend it to their circles. But what I want to focus on, I'm going to come to you, Stephen, is are you then saying that the influencers today do not influence with what is needed? And are they willing to get to spread, to listen to the right information so that at least they can influence positively?
Okay, from what we are saying, because even the Bible said it, said you judge a tree with fruits.
Right.
So we judge the influencers, the message that is being passed across by the results. And we all know the result is not good.
By their fruits, we shall know them.
Yes, by the fruits we shall know them. So definitely the right message is not being spread across. The message about positivity is not being spread across. The message about using your resources to create the change you need is not being spread across. The message about that you don't need to depend on the government, on people to come and solve your problem is not being spread across. The message that your destiny lies in your hand is not being spread across, because God has given us everything. Yes, God has given us. And then it's in us to bring all this into reality. And these influencers, these people, the mentors people look up to that are not positive, that are complaining, that are complainers, they are not spreading the right message. And that is basically what is happening.
The message of positivity is not being spread. The message that what you seek is in you is not being spread. The message that when you do not apply effort, you cannot get what you want to get. It's not being spread. What is being spread is that you can get what you want without working because you are special. So can you then not say that miracles have not been explained in the right way that they're supposed to be explained? Yes, still you, Esika. I'll get to you, Stephen.
Okay, we can say that Simply, that is what is happening because we are the miracles. Salvation, we are the miracles because we are the representative. We are the one people can see. We are the one people can see. So it's not getting out there. So it's boiled down on us to go out there, use our resources to do what we can. We don't wait for the churches, even as I said. You go out there, your local churches, those around you, you fix programs, mindset shift programs, empowerment programs, climate action enablers programs, and you fix this, you collaborate with these people, the willing. Yes, because not everyone that we embrace this. You collaborate with the willing to bring this and push this out. And when you do this, it's you just do your best. You can't be a leader by becoming legendary, by changing everyone. You change those people you are able to change within the short time you have on earth. And that those people you change will be forever grateful. And that is really what counts.
You know, when I listen to you two now, I'm going to go to Stephen. I mean, what I had always hoped to see is what I'm seeing in you guys. That the young people in a very continent where most of the time will become apathetic to the realities can start speaking truth to power. And this is what you guys are doing, telling the truth, not the false narrative we're used to. Thank you, guys. Stephen, why are these excellent elements that you guys are mentioning, why is positivity not being picked up, or why is it not being spread? Let me just through it from that perspective. Your thoughts?
Okay, okay, so I've to understand, I feel like should I say positivity to understand is being spread, but it's not reaching the length that is expected it to reach. And sorry, it's because like I like adages at times. Like, you know, there's something I learned from somewhere that said people it's a lot easier to live in a fake world than in a real world. Like, so a lot of people love being lied to. A lot of people hate to admit the truth. So that's why they eventually go for those type of, and at the end of the day it keeps biting them back in the foot. So like positivity is out there, and if in the form of positivity too. When we receive positivity too, at times it can be painful, but it's going to give us a good side. Like, take for example now, like some of the youth nowadays, like if you meet them and tell them that you have to stay awake for the next with your academics, you have to stay awake, keep learning something for the next 8 days. 8 days, you stay awake from, let's say, 12 to 3 a.m. You will not sleep, you will not even eat or something. That you have to just keep learning. They'll be like, oh, I can't spend all my time doing that. I can't, like, they'll be like, it's so painful, so stressful. But tell them that, oh, all you just have to do is just wake up one day, click your phone, and you have millions of something in a currency or something. They'll be so happy. Although deep down they know it's not true. Deep down they know that it's literally impossible, because in the world we live in, you can't get something without nothing. Like, you can't do something without, you can't get something without doing something, without like providing value. Now you can't change your community, or you can't do something, you can't help other people's life without having a value, then making that value available for others. So that the positivity is being spread, but due to the fact that people are failing to accept it, or come to the reality or the harsh truth about these things, and how it's like. Now, for example, we all can live a better life, but we all can live a better life. That's a possibility, but in order for us to achieve that better life, there's a process that we have to go through. We have to become, we have to change our mindsets. Our mindset needs to be changed. Our thought pattern, our actions, our behaviors has to change. But the fact that people don't want to do those things, so that's why anytime you see someone promoting positivity, anytime you see someone saying, oh, you can do this, but you just have to be patient. You have to be patient, just a little bit patient. But you can be this, you can be that, you can be this. They'll be like, no, 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 we don't want that. So eventually they end up not spreading that positivity, but spreading the lies that looks in front of positivity, but it's not actually positivity. So like that's what's going on, sir. Yes.
Wow, wow, wow. Bola, Stephen, you brought up this aspect of people attracted to fakeness. There is a huge appetite to fakeness because it's not real, it looks so easy to achieve without pain. So without pain, people expect to get things without pain. And from what Isika said, the miracles are in us. We have challenges, but we just need to apply some effort to then be able to develop a skill that can turn that challenge to an opportunity. But it needs time, as you said, Stephen. It needs effort. It needs a resilient mindset that you will fail. But when you fail, just reroute your steps, the direction, and continue to do what you can do. So I am really, really happy to see how you are bringing out ideas that are so urgently needed in the continent for young people. And what is coming out very clear is that positivity do exist, but it is not being taken up because of the attitude that most of the citizens have, wanting to get things immediately without enduring pain, forgetting to know that no pain, no gain. This is really, really exciting. And now we have to run up. And I would like each and every one of you to introduce yourself. And I intentionally love this till the end, because when you introduce at the beginning, those who join in later will end up not knowing you. So you introduce yourself and then give your last word, and we will run up the show. Yes, Stephen, and then Isika. Over to you. Your name, your name, and what do you do? What do you study? And your last word to the world.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Awule Bolaji Stephen. I'm a video editor, and I'm a video editor, and also I'm part of the Innovative Volunteerism ICT team. And it's been a great time today. I really appreciate everything. I really appreciate for your time. And sir, thank you very much, sir, for all you do. Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate. And Emmanuel, you're like the top and the best friend that God has ever given me. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And to everybody, I really appreciate you for your time. And my last words for you guys is, don't give up. Everything's going to turn out great. Even the greatest of the greats that we have in the world, they have their times that they go through pain, they go through a lot of things. But the key is just keep going. And like we discussed earlier, like find people that will support you in your dreams, find people that have like minds. Although you might not have the same goals to achieve, but they are focused, they know where they're going. Like someone that will help you in your downtime, someone that will pick you up when you yourself are misbehaving. That will really help you go a long way. You know, like they say if you want to work further, take a friend along. So don't give up. The sky, you can even go beyond the skies, but just keep the dream going and everything will work out great. Don't worry. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Bula, and now to you, Isika. Introduce yourself and your last word.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for this wonderful show. Thank you, Bolaji. It's amazing conversation so far. So I am Emmanuel Isika, and I am an innovative volunteerism actor. To know more about innovative volunteerism, do well to visit Ebafosa Innovative Volunteerism Space. Is for everybody and for anybody. So currently, as I said earlier during the course of this call, in case you miss it, I'm currently building the future of education for Africa and the entire scope. So I'm a marketer, a growth hacker, I've worked with various companies, and I'm currently building Personalize. And what Personalize is doing is it help produce quality workforce, skill-based individuals who become problem solvers. And we've been doing this for years with NGO, but we are going into for-profits, and then we are making the change and producing the Africa we want. And my word for you is, I saw is comment about how do you start a solution without money. My word for you is whatever I am today in my income, in my profit, everything, I started without money. In short, I was broke. I was ashamed I was broke. Yeah, so like if you're looking for someone that is poor, wretched, and was suffering, you just need to point me, like just count me among the chief. So that was my situation. But then I started all this from scratch without money. Only what I had was internet support resources and people like Dr. Richard and some other wonderful mentors that was really that said yes to me and mentored me. And what they gave me was something money could not buy, a mindset change. And that made me who I am today. So I've empowered over 13,000 youth across Africa, helped thousands of people get jobs in startups, in top companies. And then I've not even started. Why? Because I'm still going to 1 million. Imagine 13,000 to 1 million. So I have a long way to go. And that is good. So that is a brief about me, and seriously, it's awesome to be here. So daily when I wake up, I dream of Africa, on saying that Africa where people will become solution providers, where Africa will flourish, become developed, and then everyone will be able to live up to standard. And not just that, the cost of living will be high and the standard of living will be high. That wealth is in circulation, because I believe wealth is for everybody. And thank you so much to the wonderful listener for listening. And I hope you'll be able to have one or two nuggets. And what we implore you to do is we're talking about mindset shifts. So if you've gained one or two powerful pointers here, please do well to go on social media, share this message, because your audience need it. People out there need it. Tag Dr. Richard, tag Bolaji, tag myself, and seriously, let's push this out so that people out there are going to experience a mindset shift. People out there are going to make something out of their life, and they are going to get people who are really doing awesome work. Once again, I say thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, Bulaji. Thank you so much, Isika, for creating the time to share your ideas on the mindset sport and for using your experience to inspire other young people across the continent. Mindset sport is your sport. And today we've listened and you've heard from young people who are using their skills to turn community challenges into opportunities. You've heard from them that your ability is your availability and that you are unlimited. If you focus, if you apply some effort and endure some little pain to just learn that skill, then you will achieve what you've always wanted. It is here where ideas to turn challenges into opportunity are discussed. The mindset sport is your sport. Tune in next time and we will be back then. Have a nice evening or afternoon wherever you're watching from. It is the Mindset Sport with me, the host, Richard Monan. Bye-bye.